Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Onepeg. In this video, hotfix number 69. Yeah, I know. But we're going to figure out whether or not SDF with this patch is cooking, or if we're all going to be coping. Corpse moving abnormally when stepped on it. There was clipping issues with corpses. People were kind of warping all over the place. Fixed an issue where some unique items and drop tables were not dropping. So I had made a video about this before. There were some issues with certain treasure piles, as well as like normal troll, normal cyclops, the treasure piles in normals. None of those were dropping uniques, and they're supposed to. They have a very, very rare chance, as well as the center rooms in normals for both the Ruins bosses and the Goblin Cave bosses. So that is supposed to have a very, very low chance, like 1 in 1250, to be able to spawn a unique. Now, that doesn't mean that they spawn artifacts. However, HR Troll and HR Cyclops and the HR Ruins bosses both have a 0.5% chance to do that. So, 0.05% chance to do that. So, there is a chance. Fixed an issue where you could enter the dungeon immediately without waiting when pressing the entry button as soon as the dungeon changed. So that was a way that people were trying to circumvent the system and get like empty dungeons for them to be able to just have a PvE experience. I made a video about this exploit as well. It was finally buttoned up. That's been around for a very long time. So on to the balance changes, and these look like it's a lot. Maximum health for all players reduced by 15 points. Hi. Editor Onepeg here. As I was watching this back, I ended up realizing a couple of things. The minus 15 HP hit for things like Wizard and Warlock kind of sucks. Wizard real bad. Wizard's going to start off at like 80 health. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Wizards already kind of had bird bones like as their base stats. They didn't really have any HP. So that 15 HP hit is probably going to hurt. It's going to be interesting to see where the damage comes in for the other classes trying to kill them, honestly. Fighter's Weapon Mastery now also reduces magical damage bonuses, reducing both physical damage and magical damage bonus by 5%. So instead of having the 10% physical damage bonus nerf or whatever that was applied, now it's only 5%, so you did get back a little bit, but there's also a 5% penalty on magical damage bonus, which means that Crystal Sword fighters are going to end up taking a little bit of a hit. I think this is a good move. Barbarian's base strength changed from 20 to 25, and base resourcefulness changed from 12 to 7. So barbs are going to hit even harder than they used to, which is kind of nuts. Barbarian's axe specialization, additional weapon damage changed from 3 to 5. So barbs are doing more damage, base. Barbarian's two-hander now additionally increases armor penetration by 15%. Barbarian's rage changed from strength 10, vigor 10, physical damage reduction minus 10, movement speed bonus 10%, to 15 strength and vigor, PDR reduction 15% penalty, and a move speed bonus of 15%. So this is interesting. They're giving them even more damage, but more damage taken. I think this is an interesting change. Rogue's poisoned weapons now apply 10% healing reduction per stack, maximum of 5 stacks, so 50%. So we could end up seeing the return of Mosquito Rogues big time against Clerics, especially with hand crossbows being able to apply poison stacks and throwing knives. Wizard's magic missile spell count changed from 5 to 10. So wizards are getting base MM of 10 count, which is interesting when you consider spell overload on top of that. That is huge. Wizard's fireball damage changed from 25-12 to 25-10, so a little bit more of a reduction on the splash damage. I don't hate that. Wizard's explosion damage changed from 28 to 25, so a little bit of a nerf on explosion. Cleric's cleanse can now detoxify poison. So interesting change for cleanse, giving it additional utility if you end up being focused by a rogue. Although I don't know if a rogue would stay on a target. I don't know if the target of the rogue, if they're really stabbing them all that much, would end up being someone that would live long enough to get the cleanse to clear the poison. I don't know. I think that the poison itself would probably end up being not necessarily the thing that kills the person, but yeah. Although there are other poisons in the game, like there's goblin poison and whatnot, so maybe that detoxifies poison from like goblins and the mosquitoes too. I guess we'll have to see. Warlock's Torture Mastery attribute bonus ratio changed from 10 to 20%. Torture Mastery is getting a massive healing buff. This is crazy. There have been major balance changes between weapons and armor. Almost all items have similar base properties. This is interesting too. So there was the belief, and where I was talking about this with So Bad yesterday, The belief is that all of the items in the game would have like the same base stats, but the random modifiers would be the things that would make them different. Max health and max health bonus are now set in the same random modifier family. Additional move speed and move speed bonus are now set in the same random modifier family. Random modifiers from the same family group cannot appear together on an item. We're going to see additional movement speed or movement speed bonus and max health or max health bonus. Kind of like how it works for additional damage. Can't roll twice on the same ring or on the same necklace. You can't get a Phoenix choker that also has additional magic damage on it. So this is interesting. For players with existing items that have both options belonging to the same family group, the bonus option will be re-rolled to a new modifier. Viking Sword's animation has been slightly changed. Crystal Sword animation slightly changed. Change the additional magic damage of Void Blade and Demon's Glee to magic weapon damage. Very interesting. Lantern Shield's impact resistance changed from 3 to 4. That's actually huge. That makes Lantern Shield even more viable than what it was before. The function of combining looted gold coins into containers has been improved. Okay. Improved the drop rate of items that spawn outside of chests to align with the recent loot drop improvements. So this is also interesting. This means that we'll see higher quality potions and whatnot on shelves versus what we used to see. That's a great change too. The drop rates of gold coin bag and gold coin chest obtained from the horde have been adjusted to match the respective difficulty of the dungeon that the horde is accessed from. So this probably means that you're not going to see gold coin chests coming out of normal treasure piles anymore, and you're going to see gold coin bags instead. So gold coin chests might be relegated back to HR only again. They were dropping in normals, but it looks like they're not going to be anymore. Improved the arena system so that the match can be nullified if the match is not properly filled by all players. So this is good because this was making players take losses and they were losing gear because of bugs. Loot boxes and monsters have been removed from the arena for testing purposes. Wow, no more monsters on arena. Dungeon recovery is no longer available from High Roller. Wow. No more insurance on HR. That's a crazy change. I don't know well, with the loot drops being vastly improved to what they are and it being so easy to get gear now, maybe this isn't necessarily such a pain point. I would like to see them really crack down on people that are doing like the teaming and that other BS, but with the loot being as abundant as it is, maybe this doesn't hurt as bad. It would have hurt real bad before now, but I guess I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Slight QOL improvements to the dungeon recovery system. Slight QOL improvements to the marketplace. Jack-o'-lantern has returned to the merchant. New lobby skin system added to the game. So now we have a Halloween event. For those of you that hadn't seen, there's a tweet about it. This is the new lobby animation that we were being given for the Halloween theme. And we're also being given this cosmetic Halloween torch. Halloween themed skins are now available in the store. We just showed that. A new emote, teasing, is now available in the store. So I will say, based on the response, it doesn't look like people are very enthusiastic about the modifications that are being made here. What it looks like is the reason why a lot of this stuff has been improved is because the base stats on the items have probably been shrunk. My guess is that the base stats on just about everything are going to end up being relatively normalized, with the random modifiers being the thing that differentiates each tier of stuff. What this comes down to is you're going to end up having less overall HP bonuses on players. You're going to have less overall defense on players. So I don't know if you're going to be seeing people maxed out on PDR anymore, because if things like plate armor are relatively normalized across the board, it won't matter if you're getting like a legendary piece of plate gear or a legendary heater shield, because it doesn't have higher base armor value. So you're really relying on random affixes on those items in order to be able to get additional armor value, let's say. I don't know if you're going to end up seeing very high PDR builds anymore. We'll have to see what the random rolls end up being, but it looks like on the surface, the way that this is reading, my impression of this is that we're going to end up seeing a lot less stats on players, which makes sense why they would buff up Torture Mastery, because if you can't get a lot of base healing on things like Mystic Gloves or the Occultist Hood, that's going to cut out an awful lot of plus healing. You're really relying on the random modifiers in that case. So if max plus heal now is like 10, it's going to be vastly different versus everything else. It would also make sense that they would end up adding spell counts for Magic Missile if you can't get nearly as much damage like will-wise as you once were able to, because now Magic Missiles are probably going to end up taking a hit on damage. Thus all of the additional spam. It makes sense. This is kind of crazy. I don't really know how this is going to flow. Maybe I end up taking a nap and we just go live and we'll check this out in a couple of hours. But at any rate, I'll be on and we'll check it all out and we'll see whether or not it sucks. Okay? Thank you guys so much for coming and checking out this video. My name again is Onepeg. If you'd be so kind as to sub the channel here, it really, really does matter. Otherwise, I will be live soon on twitch.tv/Onepeg checking out this patch with y'all, and you guys can come by and see what you think. All right? Thank you so much for all of your time, everybody. Thank you for lending me your eyeballs. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.